All right. Good evening, everybody. So my name is Chris Lutz with Trimble Forensics, and tonight we are going to be doing a live stream demo from our Trimble Forensics Symposium in Owensboro, Kentucky. Now, what I have here is a Oculus Quest 2 headset, and we're going to show you what our mass casualty event for tomorrow is going to generally look like. So I'm going to go into VR here and show you our scene that we're going to be working tomorrow. Okay, you should now be seeing my scene. Let me get my controllers lined up here. I'm gonna move this over. Okay, let's jump over to my tabletop view. And we'll kind of look at it at a tabletop. So this is going to be the Owensboro, Kentucky Events Center. And we can look at it in a tabletop view. Now, if I want to, I can jump into my scene in any place. So what I'm going to do here is press my thumbstick and just press it forward, and we get this little pin showing us where we're going to drop. So let's just drop right in center court and drop right in. So now we are in the middle of our center court in our sports center. And I can look around here, move this over, and I'm going to jump through. So let's jump in where our suspects come into the convention center. So our suspects are going to come into our convention center. They are going to cause a little bit of havoc from here. They're going to move through our convention center. And they're going to turn left and enter into these rooms here. So as they move along just a little bit more, they're going to enter into this room, cause some chaos, continue to move through. This is going to be our blood pattern analysis tool, or blood spatter room. There's going to be several things here, including cast-off patterns, impact patterns, things of that sort in this room. As we continue on forward here, this area of our scene is going to be very dimly lit, and we're going to use some lights from our sponsors to light this area, to give our attendees just a little bit of a hint of, or a little bit of a taste of how their products can help our attendees take low light photographs and things like that. As they move along, they're going to come down through this concession area, and we've got kind of the tile floor in our concession area. They're going to come down through here. And our suspects then detonate a series of improvised explosive devices. There's going to be damage in this area, shrapnel bits and pieces from the bombs, things of that sort. As they continue on down, our last remaining suspect then makes a turn right and continues back into the convention center, which still has people in it that are trying to get out. The suspect then moves into this area. An officer with the Owensboro Police Department arrives and stops the problem, basically, in this area. Now, what I can do here, using my controllers, is I can zoom out into something called a dollhouse view. And we can look at this, adjust my headset just a bit, we can look at this from a dollhouse view. And this kind of lets us get a good overview of our scene. Move my table around here. There we go. So from here, we can look at the sports center layout, what's inside of it, how it's going to be structured, things of that sort. And I can move it around, examine this three-dimensional model from just about any angle that we want, including zooming in and taking a look down inside of our dollhouse. Now, some other aspects of the scene, it starts as a traffic stop and comes into our parking lot. They end up striking a pedestrian here. Come in, we end up sideswiping another car here. And finally, the crash ends, or the pursuit ends, right here, where they crash into an innocent bystander's Ford Mustang. From here, the police department then engage our suspects inside of the car. Some of the suspects in the car leave this side of the car and then go inside of the convention center to cause all that kind of mayhem. Now, one of the really cool things that I really like about this is I can actually jump into the place where the police terminated the pursuit. So with that, I just jump in right here, bring myself closer, and now I can be that officer that is responding to the scene. If I need to challenge our driver, make any decisions about do I have a crossfire situation, and from situational awareness, I can see where the officer is parked. I can see, can I see my other officer? Well, maybe, maybe not, through the windshield and glass of our car. I'll go back out to a more dollhouse view. I can then jump into where this officer was standing when the pursuit finished. And we can look at, is this a shoot or no shoot situation? We have an innocent bystander in the Ford Mustang, but we have our suspects in the van. And is this a good shoot or not? We can really look at where these cars parked. What lines of sight did we have? The officer said they didn't hear their backup arrive. Well, that's probable because of where they stand. We can again zoom back out, go back into a dollhouse view, and again get a overview of where this sits. Now I can also walk around here. If I want to jump over here, bring myself just a little bit closer, I can actually walk around the car. So, I can also come here, I can examine the car, look at how the car is positioned, how these two cars came together. If I want to, I can jump over to the other side and take a look. And I can back up, there we go, and drag our scene with me and allow me to look around the front side of this car and really examine how this crash happened. So very neat stuff, being able to examine our scene in 3D, in virtual reality, to get a feel of what was it like to actually be there. Really neat stuff. Now, something else that we can also do is we can get into the car. So I drag my car over and I can actually step inside of my car. And from here, if I was say a driver on a city street, I can examine, let me position this somewhere up here. From the driver's seat of this car, I can examine, can I see oncoming traffic? Can I see the vehicles in front of me? Can I see out my passenger side window? Can I see in my rear view mirror? What can I see as the driver of this car when I'm in here? And to step outside, I merely take a step and I'm outside of my car. So the investigative capabilities here are really endless as far as being able to visualize your scene and be able to look at it in a very, very immersive way long after the fact, years after the fact. We can come back to our scene and put ourselves in here in a very lifelike environment. Now, what I didn't do was put on the ceiling, finish out the exterior of the building, texture the walls, put the colors on, things of that sort. This took about an hour to an hour and a half to create, and yeah, it looks very, very nice and creates a very clear and compelling way to tell the story of how this event is going to happen. Okay, that wraps up our virtual demo of our scene in VR. Now, tomorrow we're going to be doing some live streams from on the scene itself, taking a look at the scene and being able to put you back into it, actually going back into it. But for tonight, this is the preview of what our attendees of the Trimble Forensic Symposium 2024 are going to be working on tomorrow. All right, that wraps it up for tonight. If you have any questions, shoot it to us in the chat or be sure to drop us a line. We would love to hear from you. Thank you very much.